You feel the need for speed, and you're on the verge of or just purchased a racing chair, and you want to know all the correct steps to maximize your personal potential in the least amount of time. You have some idea but not really sure where to begin. You're not sure how to steer your chair or even how to push it. This tape will show you all the necessary steps to maximize your potential. First, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Kenny Carnes. I have been racing for a total of 5 years. For the last 3 years, I have been racing on the national and international circuit. I was a member of the 1990 World Championship team in Holland. I was also a member of the 91 World Championship team in Stoke Mandeville Games in England, and I was a member of the 1992 Paralympic team in the Summer Games in Barcelona, Spain. Through my experiences in the last 5 years, I have purchased 15 different models of racing chairs. They vary from a 55-pound hospital clunker to the elite 14-pound three-wheel custom-built chair to my specific racing needs. The purpose of this instructional video and the serious racing techniques you'll see is to help minimize your blood, sweat, and tears and total aggravation and frustration. This program will aid you in achieving the most potential of your racing equipment in the shortest amount of time through my practical experience with today's current technology. I hope to help you bypass all the trials and errors I personally experienced while climbing to my elite athletic status. Discussed in this video are all the questions you will ask and how to operate your race chair correctly, taking into consideration your various needs and disabilities. There will be two primary focuses, the paraplegic and the quadriplegic. Other disabilities will fall into the guidelines of these two categories. When fitting an individual for a racing chair, the two most important measurements are the hips side to side and chest about 4 inches below the breast side to side. Other measurements are the hip to knee and knee to bottom of foot. Range of motion in knees and hips determines sitting position. In most cases, you will want to be 5 to 9 inches behind the rear axle. Depending on trunk length, 3 to 6 inches above the rear axle. Arm length determines push ring size. Never any smaller than 13 inches. Average size is 14 to 14 3/4 inches. 95% will get 700C rear wheels unless you are measuring a junior or an individual with short trunk and arms. Your degree of disability will determine your sitting position, and certain add-ons to the steering and braking might be necessary. Various degrees of camber, 12 degrees the most, 9 the least, and 10 degrees average. 9 is more upright and possibly rolls faster, but will tip in a turn easier and should only be used for a more experienced racer. 10 to 12 is best, allowing the best position of hands on push ring and giving the most stability, decreasing the scuffing on the inside of the arms also. A brief description on the modern aerodynamic three-wheel ultra-lightweight racing chair. The chair is basically built out of 3 different alloys, titanium, chromoly, or aluminum. Based on the company you purchased your chair from, the weight will vary and range from 13 to 17 pounds. The style of frame will vary from either a triangular or a T-frame design. Using the proper frame length and seating is very critical in the beginning stages of fitting. I feel the chair must be at least 60 inches long or 5 feet. Nothing shorter than 58 inches, varying from 58 to 65 inches. Of course, this depends on your body size, junior or adult. Therefore, the longer the frame, the better it keeps the front wheel to the ground, and it even makes the chair more stable, and I feel it makes it coast better. The part we are going to discuss now is the sitting cage. The sitting cage rests on a main frame to support your body snugly in the proper ideal seating position. I feel that you should sit anywhere from 3 to 5 inches above the rear axle and anywhere from 5 to 9 inches beyond the rear axle. Too much behind the rear wheel will make the front end too light. Too far forward will make it too heavy. If you are sitting too low in the seat, you are not going to get the proper power. I feel the point of your shoulder blade should be 1 inch in front of the push ring. Therefore, when you make contact with your hand on the push ring, you will be coming in contact with it at 2 o'clock and coming off at 7 o'clock. The sweet part of the push ring is between 3 and 5 o'clock. That is where you're going to have the strongest amount of power applied to your push ring to propel the chair. The fender is made out of a round tubing anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 inch in diameter, or 1 inch tube cut in half that will overlay over top the tire. This is to protect the inside of your arm at its fullest extent from burning into the tire. I feel that they should be at their furthest point about 4 to 6 inches from the main frame and covering the outer edge of the tire. Next, we will discuss the wheels and the various types of wheels and also the push rings. There are two different types of wheels. There is the clincher wheel, which is very reliable. It is also a little heavier. The next type is a sew-up. It is an ultralight tire. It accelerates very quickly, but is very prone to flats. There are various sizes in the rear wheels: 26-inch, 700C, or 27-inch. The deciding point of this will be the length of your arm. What you want to achieve is being able to reach the bottom of the ring with the end of your thumb on the outside of the push ring. So the various sizes of push rings are taken into consideration. Rarely are they smaller than 13 inches and never larger than 16 inches. This is what propels the chair, and this is like our gearing. Due to the fact that we are not allowed to have gears on our racing chairs, the push ring is our gear. We are only allowed one size, so we have decided that the smaller the push ring, the more top speed you're going to have, but it's going to make you work harder and will exert more energy. The larger the push ring, you will climb hills better, and in the long run, you will have a better average speed throughout the course of the event. A little about the push ring. Through the years, we have experimented with different types of surfaces on the push ring. We have been using friction tape, and it is a lot of maintenance and a lot of pain with razor blade slips removing disintegrated tape. So what we have taken is a 300-gram sew-up tire and have stripped the inside of it out and have applied contact cement to the bare aluminum push ring surface. Most manufacturers will sell their chair with this already done. This is just an added thing to save maintenance, and it lasts generally about 1,000 miles before you need to replace it. Breaking in a ring. File the surface down and apply a little stickum. It allows you to get the proper connection of your glove to the push ring surface. There are two basic sizes of the front wheel. In most instances, it's 16 and 18 inch. Most chairs are built with an 18-inch front wheel and 700C rear wheel. There are some instances where guys are experimenting with the 20-inch front wheel, but that is your choice. Most manufacturers will be using an 18-inch sew-up front tire, which is quite reliable. It is not as flat prone as the rear due to the fact that the front end runs so light. The number of spokes varies in the rear wheel depending on weight size. If you are a person weighing 140 to 170 pounds, I would definitely have a 28-spoke rear wheel. But if you're under 140 pounds, you can get away with a 24-spoke rear wheel. If you're over 140 pounds, when you go into a turn, you find the wheels do flex a little, and the more spokes, the more reliable. They do make a 36 and 32-spoke rear wheel. They are a lot heavier and they don't add that much more strength. The best spoke pattern would be a 28-spoke wheel. The most important components in the racing frame and chair is the steering mechanism and the compensator. The compensator is what keeps your chair going straight or into a turn. The compensator consists of a spring-loaded piston which allows the chair, when you are turning the handlebars, to spring back to direct center. The object behind the compensator lever is to try to find and adjust the center point of the chair. As you will notice here, there are two track stops. One to allow you to adjust it so you can make a left turn or a right turn, or to keep it direct center. But basically, most of the time the chair will be set up in a position to where it will just make the left turn in the compensator use. When you're on a quarter-mile oval track and you go into a turn, you push the compensator lever to make the left turn, and when you exit the turn, you push it and it will make the chair go straight. Do not get in your chair until it is adjusted properly. There are various ways to adjust this. Most of the time it's through a wing nut or a locking mechanism. The compensator is one of the hardest parts of the chair and frustrating parts to adjust, because the minute you jump in the chair, chances are it's not going to go straight. So you're going to have to spend a small amount of time getting used to this lever, which makes the chair go to the left and what makes it go to the right, and trying to find the center point of the chair. Because when you're pushing the chair has been developed to where all your energy goes into a straightforward motion. There is no swaying where it's veering to the left or veering to the right. The best way to adjust the chair is to push the chair, not being in it, a distance of 10 meters, adjusting the compensator lever for whichever way it will go in a straight line. You always want to go straight. That is why the spring-loaded piston will allow you to grab the handlebars, and you will push or pull one way or the other to make it go left or to the right, but will always return to the center. When you get a little faster in your chair and you find that the way you're sitting allows the front end to be quite light, and you will be able to do what we call bunny hop or scoot the front end around just by bouncing your body a little bit by lifting it. This allows the chair, without stopping your pushing momentum and reaching up to steer the chair, to go through small degrees of turns by using body English or movement. One of the most important factors in pushing your chair is a properly taped glove. We now also have a properly handmade glove that eliminates taping. There are various ways of taping your glove, and we will go through these stages of preparing your gloves. We are either using motocross type gloves, which is leather and suede mixed, or handball or baseball batter's gloves. We use a special padding. Some use foam rubber, others use thicker degrees of padding due to the degree of tenderness of your hands. Gloves are very important. They are like running shoes to a runner. A properly taped glove will help alleviate blisters and relieve the pounding and abuse your hands will take from the continual pounding onto the push ring. There are two ways of taping your gloves, either having two fingers taped securely together with padding on the top of 2 or 4 digits together with padding on the top of all of them. Also, the thumb will be padded running through the side of the thumb all the way to the base of the thumb. This is where the most power is applied when you are pushing. I have completely taped all 4 fingers on my glove. This has enabled me to allow my hands to get proper circulation without strangulating any of the blood and feeling to my fingers. From the years of continual pounding, my 2 fingers would fall asleep, so when I started taping all 4 together, my hands were more relaxed. I'm now also pushing a glove that is hand sewn for me and has cut down on all the maintenance of having to retape my gloves after every push. There are 3 basic styles of hand sewn gloves. I will guarantee that you will get over 1,000 miles of pushing on 1 pair of gloves. For the cost of the tape and hours of labor, you will say, the benefits surpass the cost of the gloves. Definitely worth the money. The contact person is Deb Harness, located in Champaign, Illinois. Phone number 217-398-5788. There are 2 different strokes. One is the para push on the glove, the other the quad push. The para is very strong on the thumb and can hold his hand in a fist. The new glove holds your hand securely in a fist with the strap locking on the top surface. A quadriplegic, due to the fact that he has partial paralysis in the hand and being weaker in the thumb, cannot hold his hand in a fist. Therefore, he or she pushes in a backhand motion. Relatively no padding on the thumb, and the total surface of the top of all 4 fingers will be taped or padded with a special type of rubber that will contact with the push ring surface. Over the years of racing, our technique has changed for the total purpose of efficiency. No longer are we gripping the push ring, we are now punching it. We are punching the push ring with our hands in a fist, and we make contact with the ring at 2 o'clock and remove at 7 o'clock. The first contact will be at the base of the thumb on the ring, and then locking our 2 or 4 fingers into the inside of the ring, and from applying it at 2 o'clock and coming out at 7 o'clock, the thumb will flick out at the bottom. The quadriplegic will push in a backhand motion beginning at 11 o'clock on the outside of the ring and following through until 7 o'clock, or as long as he can stay on the outside of the push ring surface. We have found that no longer is it the same way that you push your everyday chair. The fact is, we are punching the push ring and no longer gripping it. It prevents us from slowing the chair down by grabbing it, and it also stops the tension and tightness achieved in the forearm. Transferring into your chair is not a very graceful act. Do it any way you can. There are 3 basic ways to get into the chair. One method is to put both feet in the foot sling first and then lift yourself by putting one hand on the fender, rest your backside on the other fender, and slide yourself into the chair. Depending on your flexibility, you might have to put one foot in first, transfer into the racer, and bring the other foot in behind. The chairs are made very tightly to your body, and you have to wiggle yourself in. Depending on your disability, you might have to have someone come up behind you and lift you into the chair. The way I sit with my feet underneath me, I have to slide my feet underneath the seat on top of the axle, and then I sit my backside on the top rail of the chair and slide myself in. The third method is for those not weak at heart. Tilt the chair on its back end and place both feet in position above the rear axle. Inch into the seat by tipping the chair forward onto the ground. Once in your chair, the sitting position and the foot position and height is very critical, and it varies to your level of ability. If you're in the range of T8 to a T12, you will sit with your backside at least 3 to 6 inches above the axle and at least 5 to 9 inches behind the rear axle. Therefore, it allows you to get in your tilt position to where your shoulders are 1 inch in front of your push ring. It also allows you to keep the weight heavy on your front end, but it also allowing you to keep it light enough where you can scoot it around the turns without having to quit pushing. The knee position varies as well. Basically, your knee should be a little below your breast, and that is obtained by your foot position, and that takes a lot of adjusting to find the proper position. With the knee position and the shin strap secured into place, your chest should be bouncing on the top of your thighs. The top part of your breast should be overextended through the top part of your knee. The sitting position is so crucial. The proper position will enhance your stroke, allowing your arm to be fully extended into the bottom portion of your push ring at 7 o'clock with your thumb flicking off at the end. This is going to give you that extra 3 inches farther than most if they are not getting the total extent of their push and follow through. This will keep you more relaxed in the proper position and allowing your chest to get the proper breath in your lungs. It is important not to get anxious and to follow all the steps discussed and to be familiar with all the working parts to prevent further injury. One of the most important adjustments on a racing wheelchair is the toe in, toe out alignment. What we have here is a toe in, toe out gauge. The bar slides in and out. You position it on the outer edge of your rim from the rear first, making it fit very snugly. Securely tightening it down, having it completely perpendicular with your rear wheels. After you have achieved this measurement, making it very tight, you remove it, spin your chair around, and then do it to the front the same way, to the outer edge of the rim. I like to have my wheels towed in at least 1/8 of an inch. And if it fits in there very snugly, a little bit tighter than the rear, you have it. The best way to achieve it is with your body sitting in the chair. Certain manufacturers will have a toe in, toe out alignment bar on your chair, but others you'll have to take off your wheels and file the axle receivers either to the front or the back. A brief section on accessories and where they may be purchased. An important component in the chair is the front wheel brake, which is the safety feature on the chair. Although it is not used in emergency situations to stop the chair due to the fact of the pressure in the tires. Front tire carrying anywhere from 120 to 40 pounds of pressure and the rear from 140 to 170 pounds of pressure. If you skid that front tire and lock it up, you could burn through the tire and it's going to give you an instant blowout, which is a bad word in wheelchair racing. Another important component is the cat eye, or the computer, that shows you the speed you're traveling and tells you the time and the distance you've been pushing. It is a pacing device. It is like a friend or an enemy. When I am in training, I am always looking at the speedometer and always judging how fast I'm going and how much faster I can possibly go. It is a training technique for me. Most wheelchair manufacturers will handle all parts and accessories that are necessary. Most tires and small things like cat eyes and brakes may be purchased at your local bicycle stores. There are even certain individuals who have their own wheelchair accessory businesses. There are additional little things that have enhanced our pushing, such as wheel covers, which are for the aerodynamics of the chair. It can increase speed up to 2 to 4 miles an hour faster down hills. We have become so aerodynamic with our chairs that we're even going as far as carbon fiber composite wheels, tri-spoke front wheel, all of which are very expensive and not that important in the beginning stages. But there are several options to the chair if you want to modify it to make it go faster. Also, wearing a helmet should be considered. There are various styles of helmets that are very light and very aerodynamic and breathe well in addition to protecting your head in case of an accident. There are 7 manufacturers of racing wheelchairs in the United States. First, there is Fortress, located in Clovis, California. The contact person is Jimmy Green. The phone number is 404-979-7203. Another is Magic in Motion, Shadow Racing Chair. Contact person Jim Martinson, 800-342-1579, located in Washington State. Another is Hall's Wheels. He is located in Massachusetts. The phone number is 617-628-7955. Another is Cushall of America, located in Camarillo, California. Phone number is 800-654-4768. Another is Top End, located in Florida. The contact person is Chris Peterson. Phone number is 813-522-1007. Another is Eagle Sports Chair, located in Georgia. Contact person is Barry and Gail Ewing. Phone number is 404-972-0763. Next is Brooks Products. Call Peter Brooks at 805-965-3530. Last is Elite Wheelchair Products, 404-972-3757. Now that you have a general idea on how to propel your racing chair, you are ready to start a training regimen. If you want to be good, you're going to have to put in some hard time and very long miles. To get yourself fit, you need to get your body in shape. We call that building a base. When I first started, I went out for 3 months every day or evening and did 5 miles, 20 laps around a local high school track. Maybe that is a little too much at first for what you have in mind. If you're between the ages of 8 and 15, perhaps you don't want to do that much at first. If you're a little older, the body can handle a little more distance, but I think that is a good start for building a base. You just don't want to hit your first competition not being familiar with your equipment. I would do 5 miles a day, trying to average a minimum of 10 miles per hour average speed. That boils down in a 10K distance of 6.2 miles to a 36-minute pace. 6 minutes a mile is 10 miles per hour average. A 25-minute average speed is going to be about 15 miles per hour. For a 25-minute 10K, your average speed is going to be fluctuating between 15 and 15.3 miles per hour. That is why I say the computer cat eye is very good for pacing yourself in a race or in a training schedule. After you build yourself a base, you're ready to step up the pace. I would include, after a 5-day push of 5 to 10 miles a day, to pick it up to one long push on the weekend from at least 15 to 20 miles in that push. I would also incorporate 3 days worth of weightlifting. Lots of repetition using light weights. Maybe 1 day out of the week heavy weight. Do a lot of arm, chest, and shoulder exercises. Weights have a tendency to build you up and get you in condition for endurance. Whether you have your sights on short distance sprint racing or long endurance racing, your training regimen will vary considerably. Therefore, finding a good coach might be a good option. If you want further information of these points, watch the credits at the end for my number. In closing, I hope this video has helped you with all your questions. Wheelchair racing has been very inspirational to me. It has given me a new outlook on my life, confidence and motivation that carries over into my everyday life. In general, wheelchair racing has saved my life and has made me accept my disability and realize that it's not a hindrance but an asset. Even though I am confined to a chair, I still can have fun just like I did before being injured. Through racing, I have made many friends, and we all share the same common disabilities and the same common hopes and dreams that life just isn't that bad being in a wheelchair or disabled. I realize we all have different hopes and dreams in our lives, but if your direction is towards the wheelchair sport of racing, I hope that this tape can be instrumental in furthering your progress. I hope you will put forth the work and effort. It is worth it.